This is absolutely disgusting. What happened to Jimmy Uso outside that supermarket is not just an attack on one man, it's an attack on everything we stand for as a wrestling community. And if you think this is just another random incident, you're dead wrong. This is the result of years of toxic fan culture that WWE has been ignoring, and now one of our beloved superstars is paying the price for their negligence. I'm about to expose some hard truths that are going to make you furious, and by the end of this video, you're going to understand exactly why this attack was inevitable and why it's going to happen again unless we do something about it right now. Let me paint you the picture of what really went down, because the sanitized version you've been hearing from WWE and mainstream media is complete garbage. Jimmy Uso wasn't just approached by some random person, he was stalked, cornered, and attacked by someone who had been following him for who knows how long. According to eyewitness accounts that haven't been widely reported, Jimmy Uso was leaving a local supermarket when he was approached by an unidentified individual. But here's what they're not telling you, this wasn't a chance encounter. Multiple witnesses reported seeing the same person lurking around the parking lot for over an hour, clearly waiting for Jimmy to come out. The situation escalated quickly, resulting in a physical altercation that left Jimmy with minor injuries. But, minor injuries doesn't tell the whole story. We're talking about a man who was just trying to buy groceries for his family, who got ambushed by someone who clearly had no respect for basic human decency. The incident was captured on several smartphones, and videos quickly circulated on social media, causing a frenzy among fans and media outlets alike. But instead of being outraged at the attacker, half the comments were people making jokes, creating memes, and treating this like it was some kind of entertainment. That's the problem right there. When did we become so desensitized to violence against our favorite wrestlers that we treat real-life attacks like they're part of the show? Following the incident, WWE released a statement that was so weak, so generic, so completely devoid of any real action that it made my blood boil. We are aware of the situation involving Jimmy Uso and are currently gathering more information. The safety of our superstars is our top priority, the statement read. Are you kidding me? That's it? That's their response to one of their biggest stars getting attacked in broad daylight? We're gathering information. What information do you need? Your employee got assaulted. Where's the security detail? Where's the legal action? Where's the public condemnation of this behavior? This is the same company that spends millions on elaborate entrance sets and pyrotechnics, but they can't provide basic protection for their performers when they're trying to live normal lives. It's absolutely shameful, and it shows you exactly where WWE's priorities really lie. They're more concerned about protecting their corporate image than protecting the people who literally put their bodies on the line every night to make them billions of dollars. Jimmy Uso has been with WWE for over a decade, he's been a multiple-time champion, he's helped build their tag team division, and this is how they repay his loyalty. The fact that they didn't immediately announce enhanced security measures for all their performers tells you everything you need to know about how seriously they're taking this threat. Let me tell you something that's going to make a lot of people uncomfortable, but it needs to be said. This attack didn't happen in a vacuum. It's the direct result of a toxic fan culture that has been building for years, and WWE has not only allowed it to fester, they've actively encouraged it. Fellow wrestlers have taken to social media to express their support for Jimmy, and many shared messages of solidarity, emphasizing the need for fans and the public to respect the privacy and safety of athletes. But here's the thing, they shouldn't have to ask for basic human decency. The fact that wrestlers are begging fans to treat them like human beings shows you how far we've fallen. When did it become acceptable for fans to feel entitled to wrestlers' personal time? When did it become normal for people to follow wrestlers to grocery stores, restaurants, and their children's schools? When did we decide that buying a ticket to a wrestling show gives you the right to harass performers in their private lives? Social media has made this problem 1,000 times worse. Fans now have direct access to wrestlers' personal lives through Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. They see where wrestlers eat, where they shop, where they take their kids to play. And some of these so-called fans use that information to stalk and harass the very people they claim to support. The wrestling community has always prided itself on being close-knit, but that closeness has been weaponized by people who don't understand boundaries. Jimmy Uso getting attacked outside a supermarket isn't an isolated incident, it's the inevitable result of years of escalating fan entitlement that nobody wanted to address. Jimmy Uso, part of the renowned USO tag team alongside his brother Jey Uso, has been a prominent figure in WWE for years. Known for their high-energy matches and charismatic personas, the Usos have captured multiple tag team championships and are beloved by fans worldwide. However, this incident raises questions about how such external factors can affect an athlete's career trajectory. But let's talk about what this really means for Jimmy's mental health and well-being. The pressures of fame can be overwhelming, especially for wrestlers who are constantly in the public eye. While many fans admire their favorite superstars, they may not fully grasp the challenges these athletes face outside of their scripted storylines. Imagine for a moment that you can't go to a grocery store without worrying about being followed. Imagine that you can't take your kids to the park without someone recording you and posting it online. Imagine that every time you leave your house, you have to wonder if today's the day someone decides to physically attack you for no reason other than they recognize your face. That's the reality that Jimmy Uso and every other WWE superstar lives with every single day. And incidents like this don't just cause physical injuries, they cause lasting psychological trauma that can affect every aspect of a person's life. The wrestling industry has a massive mental health crisis that nobody wants to talk about. We've lost too many talented performers to suicide, addiction, and other mental health issues. And attacks like this one only make the problem worse by creating an environment where wrestlers feel unsafe and constantly threatened. Incidents like this can take a toll on mental health and may even lead to changes in how wrestlers engage with their fan base. Some wrestlers have already started limiting their public appearances, avoiding certain venues, and even moving to different cities to escape harassment. Is that really the kind of wrestling community we want to create? The response on social media has been a perfect microcosm of everything that's wrong with wrestling fandom today. Fans have expressed outrage over the attack, calling for greater accountability and respect from those who approach wrestlers in public spaces. Social media platforms have been flooded with hashtags like #JusticeForUSO and #RespectTheWrestlers, highlighting the need for a more respectful relationship between fans and their idols. But here's the problem. For every genuine message of support, there are 10 comments making jokes, victim-blaming, or treating this like it's all part of some elaborate storyline. I've seen comments saying things like, maybe it was a work, or Jimmy probably deserved it, or this is just publicity for WWE. Are you insane? A human being was attacked while trying to buy groceries, and you think it's a publicity stunt? This is exactly the kind of toxic thinking that created this problem in the first place. When fans can't distinguish between scripted entertainment and real life, when they treat wrestlers like they're not real people with real feelings and real safety concerns, this is what happens. Many fans also took the opportunity to reflect on their own behavior at events and in public, which is great, but it shouldn't take someone getting attacked for people to realize that harassment is wrong. The fact that we need to have this conversation at all shows you how far we've fallen as a community. The wrestling community has always prided itself on being close-knit, but incidents like this remind everyone that boundaries must be respected. But words are cheap. We need action. We need consequences. We need real changes to how the wrestling industry handles fan interactions and performer safety. Let me tell you something that's going to make WWE and other wrestling companies very uncomfortable. They are partially responsible for what happened to Jimmy Uso. Their marketing strategies, their social media presence, their entire approach to fan engagement has created an environment where this kind of attack was inevitable. For years, WWE has promoted the idea that their superstars are accessible, that they're just like us, that fans can have personal relationships with them through social media and public appearances. They've broken down the barriers between performers and fans to such an extent that many people don't understand where entertainment ends and real life begins. They've monetized every aspect of their performers' lives. They sell access to wrestlers through meet and greets, they encourage fans to follow wrestlers on social media, they even have reality shows that expose wrestlers' personal lives and relationships. All of this sends the message that wrestlers' privacy is for sale, that their personal lives are part of the product. But when that marketing strategy leads to stalking, harassment, and physical attacks, suddenly it's not WWE's problem anymore. Suddenly it's just a random incident that they're investigating. That's not good enough. That's not leadership. That's corporate cowardice. Other wrestling companies need to take notes here, because this problem isn't limited to WWE. AEW, Impact, New Japan, and every other wrestling promotion that encourages parasocial relationships between fans and performers is creating the same dangerous environment. The wrestling industry has a responsibility to protect its performers, and that responsibility doesn't end when they leave the building. If you're going to profit from making your wrestlers accessible to fans, then you need to provide the security and support systems to keep them safe. As Jimmy Uso recovers from this unsettling experience, it remains to be seen how it will affect his future appearances in WWE. While he is expected to return to action soon, the incident serves as a reminder of the unpredictable nature of life as a professional wrestler. But I don't want to hear about Jimmy's expected return to action. I want to hear about what WWE is doing to make sure this never happens again. I want to hear about security protocols, legal action against the attacker, and real consequences for people who think they can assault wrestlers without facing justice. Here's what needs to happen immediately. First, WWE needs to provide professional security for all their top performers, not just during events but during their daily lives. If you're making millions of dollars off these people, you can afford to keep them safe. Second, they need to completely overhaul their fan engagement strategies. No more encouraging parasocial relationships. No more selling access to wrestlers' personal lives. No more treating their performers like their public property. Third, they need to work with law enforcement to prosecute attackers to the fullest extent of the law. This can't be treated like a civil matter or a minor altercation. This is assault, and it needs to be treated as such. Fourth, they need to implement mandatory mental health support for all performers who have been subjected to stalking, harassment, or attacks. The psychological trauma from incidents like this can last for years, and wrestlers need professional help to deal with it. Fifth, they need to completely change how they handle fan interactions at events. Better security, clearer boundaries, and zero tolerance for harassment or inappropriate behavior. But this isn't just WWE's responsibility. Every single person watching this video has a role to play in fixing this problem. You can't just share a hashtag and think you've done your part. You need to actively work to change the culture that created this situation. Stop supporting content creators who stalk wrestlers for exclusive footage. Stop following social media accounts that post wrestlers' personal information. Stop treating wrestlers like they owe you anything beyond their professional performance. When you see someone harassing a wrestler in public, speak up. When you see someone posting inappropriate content about wrestlers' families, report it. When you see someone making jokes about serious incidents like this attack, call them out. The wrestling community is only as good as its worst members, and right now, we have some pretty terrible members who are making life miserable for the performers we claim to love. That has to change, and it has to change now. If you're someone who has ever followed a wrestler to a restaurant, or shown up at their gym, or tried to approach them while they're with their family, you're part of the problem. I don't care if you think you're being respectful or just saying hi. You're contributing to an environment where wrestlers can't live normal lives. Wrestling is entertainment. It's not real life. The people who perform in wrestling are real human beings with real families and real privacy rights. If you can't understand that basic concept, then you don't deserve to call yourself a wrestling fan. This attack on Jimmy Uso isn't just about one incident. It's about the future of professional wrestling and whether we're going to create an environment where talented performers want to be part of this industry. Why would someone want to become a wrestler if it means they can't live a normal life? Why would someone want to sign with WWE if it means they have to worry about getting attacked while buying groceries? Why would parents want their children to pursue wrestling careers if it means constant harassment and potential violence? The wrestling industry is already struggling with recruitment and retention. Talented athletes are choosing other sports and entertainment options because wrestling doesn't offer the same level of security and normalcy. Incidents like this attack are only going to make that problem worse. We're at a crossroads. We can either address this toxic fan culture head-on and create a safer environment for everyone, or we can continue to ignore the problem until we lose more talented performers to harassment, mental health issues, and physical violence. The choice is ours, but we need to make it now, before it's too late. In conclusion, the attack on Jimmy Uso outside a supermarket has sparked significant conversation about the challenges faced by WWE superstars beyond the squared circle. As fans rally around him in support, it's clear that respect and understanding are paramount in ensuring that these athletes can perform without fear or harassment in their daily lives. But support isn't enough. We need action. We need change. We need to hold WWE accountable for protecting their performers, and we need to hold ourselves accountable for creating a wrestling community that values human dignity over entertainment access. Let's hope for a swift recovery for Jimmy Uso and a renewed commitment from all parties involved to create a safer environment for everyone in the wrestling community. But more than hope, let's demand it. Let's make it clear that we won't tolerate this kind of behavior, and we won't support companies that don't take performer safety seriously. The wrestling community is better than this. We just need to start acting like it. What are your thoughts on this incident? Are you willing to change your behavior to help create a safer environment for wrestlers? Let me know in the comments, and let's start a real conversation about how we can fix this problem together. If you thought tonight's story was wild, trust me, what happens next will blow your mind. So don't stop now. Click on the video right here on your screen to continue the chaos, the drama, and the inside scoop only we deliver. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, give this video a like, and join the Wrestling News CC family, where the real stories of WWE come to life. See you in the next one.